Mr. Mayur Vora is the Managing Director, Mapro Industries. He started as a management trainee to being an owner and Managing Director of Mapro, a business which he took over 3 decades ago, which then had a turnover of 6 to 7 lakhs, has now reached a mind-boggling 200 crores. He employs more than 2,000 people and supporting more than 2,000 farmers. It serves almost 4 million tourists each year at Mahabaleshwar. These numbers are simply mind-blowing for a small hill town of Mahabaleshwar. A management graduate from IIM Bangalore, Mr. Vora supports education and medical treatments of hundreds of needy people in Mahabaleshwar, Panchagani area every year. We are extremely delighted to have a grounded and humble human being with us. I call sir on stage. We've had the fortune of working with this person. Swapnil, a serial entrepreneur having successfully sold his startups, Dingana and Maisie. Known as a shining star in India's startup brigade. Having 13 plus years experience behind him in creating innovative products and technologies that are used by tens of millions. In 2015, he founded a company, Maisie, an artificial intelligence company, and within just a span of 3 years, it got acquired by American Express for $150 million. Presenting to you a mix of 30 to 13 years experienced panelists with us, our prides of the nation, and Apla Pune, Mr. Mayur Vora and Swapnil Shinde. Now over to Guru and Pankaj for leading the panel.
It is such a nice thing that when I first met Swapnil, we both were sitting next to each other, and by that time I had already served his company for 4 years, and I didn't even know he was Swapnil. That is the power of internet. We were sitting in Bangalore, he's sitting in Pune or San Francisco, and he's doing work. We all have been filing 4 returns, we have been having audit discussions, transfer pricing and everything, but we had not even seen once. But I had seen him in Facebook. I don't know how many of you are in Facebook. He's one of the wonderful painters. I recently commented that you are the only CEO who is also an excellent painter.
Swapnil, I would like to start with you. We have worked with you in earlier phase. Before Maisie, Swapnil had this company called Dingana. Many of you must have enjoyed that app few years back. He sold that company, he formed Maisie, and within 3 years he sold that company. When you started, did you envisage such a huge success, or it came as a surprise? How did you handle the surprise? Is success taught, or it is caught?
I think that's a great question. So, with Maisie, I think we had a strong positive gut feel about the company, I think, right from day one, because I think the idea was ahead of the curve. I think we were looking in the future, in 3-4 years in the future. Everyone that we discussed Maisie with, I think 1 in every 2 people didn't get it, which is actually a good sign. That means that you are running ahead of the curve. And I think the team was super solid. 3 months after we started the company, we had a team of 30 people. 50% of people who worked with us at Dingana joined Maisie. With Maisie, we built the company ground up and top down at the same time, which was very different than Dingana. And I think that helped us a lot. So I think every 3 months when we looked at the progress or looked at the way we were building the technology, that positive gut feel was there. To be very frank, we didn't imagine that we could have such a big exit in like 2.5 years of starting Messi. Maybe we would have expected it 5 to 6 years or so. But we knew from day one that this is a technology, if it becomes valuable, most of the big companies will either buy it or build it. So acquisition was going to be an end outcome for us. But I think overall, with an amazing team, amazing set of investors, the gut feel was pretty positive.
Great. Well, you are an IIM graduate, you know, and Mapro possibly started with a very small venture. When you started entity, it was hardly 5-6 lakh rupees turnover, and now it has the largest among the tourist destination. You have almost 2,000 people and turnover in millions. When you started it, was the success planned or it just happened?
I left Bombay and decided to live in Panchgani rather than exist in Bombay.
Oh. So you said rather than exist in Bombay.
There was definitely a vision. Definitely a vision to grow. The success was largely a function of the economic growth. We were very satisfied. It wasn't planned as a gradual thing. We're talking about the 80s. And we moved in 83, until started this in 59. And yes, we have a good life. And any small business would be better than a salary, which at that time was very low. Corporate salaries were nothing to it. So it wasn't intended to grow at any level. It was intended to be located in Panchgani and do what you can.
Hi, this is for Swapnil. As you said now, your curve was just 2.5 years. In 2.5 years, you could build a company, create a team, and also exit with almost a valuation of around 1,000 crores. When I started my profession, I had a strange thing. There is no work, no money. When I started, there is no work, no money. Slowly, we got work and no money. We got work, no money. Then we got little money and good work. Now many of us are in a stage that no work, only money. So our stage was like this: money grew slowly and work grew and it fell down. But in your case, it just happened in 2.5 years, where you started with a seed capital of possibly a few lakhs or a few crores, and you created an organization which could be valued at possibly 1,000 crores. So what did it take to create that?
I think though on paper it feels like it just took like 2.5 years for us to build and sell the company. I think a lot of credit goes to our experience in our last startup. So our last startup, we started working on it in 2007 and we sold it in 2014. So I think a lot of work that we did during that particular startup, the way we built the companies, the mistakes that we did, the way we got wounded, the successes that we saw, I think all of that helped us tremendously in Magic. And that's possibly one of the reasons why I think we could hit that success in record time. I think a lot of karma that happened in Dingana came back to us with Magic. So I would say like at least 50% of the credit goes to our experience in the previous startup, and 50% to a lot of strategic decisions that we took. We pretty much pivoted Magic like 3 or 4 times. I remember one of our board members, he once came to the meeting and said that Swapnil, Messi is always pivoting. I was like, yes, it's like a diamond. Every time you come, we shine one side and show it to you. But I think understanding the psyche of the consumer, making changes in your product such that you can win in the next 3 months and keep doing it, actually helped us transform the company drastically. When we started as a shopping assistant. Like you can come to Magic and buy anything. And people were buying products across 15 different categories, and we thought, wow, this is great. But actually it was bad, because now you have to focus on 15 different categories. But in the first 3 to 6 months, we saw that travel vertical was growing at 300% month on month, whereas fashion and gifts were growing at 70% month on month. Still a pretty heavy growth rate. But we saw, when we dig deeper, we saw that travel engagement was far deeper in terms of transactions. Like every travel transaction was on an average $1,000. And those people were coming back and spending more even on fashion and gift. And we realized pretty early that if this has to be an artificial intelligence play, we can only win if we focus on one thing and if we go really deep in it. And we made the decision to focus on travel, so that was our one big pivot. And then within travel, we said that we don't want to cater to every traveler. If you are traveling once or twice a year, you are probably not our user. We want to focus on people who want to use maybe every single month, maybe more than once, because only then you will feel the need to have an assistant. So we started focusing on business travel. And from the next pivot was that we moved from direct to consumer to a B2B2C model, because we realized that a lot of big companies want such platform, want such a travel assistant, and they want to extend it to their existing customers. That is when we crafted our first partnership with American Express. And then before we knew it, we had 5 more such partnerships. So that transformed the company completely. So I think that those understanding the market, changing yourself, falling in love with your mission instead of your product, I think is very important.
And most importantly, what I observed in this time is, in a matter of 3 months, he just moved around and moved into travel, and again so soon he shifted from travel and went into business travel, and from B2C went into B2B. I think that transformation means a lot in a growth industry. In many cases when we do audit, we possibly see that, okay, this time I got 10% turnover increase and I got 8% profit. And next time I got 11% increase and I got 9% profit. So the growth is so strong. Such a spontaneous growth I have not heard before, where people just move around and jump in a period of 4 quarters. You have 4 different things to show to the investors and to themselves. And that discovery journey is a fabulous journey.
Yeah.
Kudos to you. Now coming to Mayur. Sir, when you started, you would have obviously faced a lot of challenges. You are in food, you are in products, you are dealing with a lot of skilled labor, unskilled labor, semi-skilled labor. You are dealing with tourism. Tourist industry will come to you. And you moved from Bombay to Panchgani. There are so many things. I'm sure you would have faced a lot of challenges. Can you recollect one challenge which was really big? And can you also recollect how did you overcome that challenge?
Again, this is the 80s, I'm sure. Before a lot of you here were. People are all, finally I see people with hair and not colored hair. Most meetings I go are people like me. Okay, but this was the 80s, there was huge amount of regulation. And we were a very small industry working out of the house. 90% or more of management time would go on dealing with government. Dealing with inspectors, dealing with laws, dealing with I remember taking big files to the chartered account, not even chartered, the income tax practitioner's office to try and explain. And why did you spend 300 rupees more on your travel? This was income tax officers asking me. It got ingrained that, will he pass this expense? So all this was, the challenge was largely dealing with government. How we overcame, it wasn't one, how we overcame that everybody, somebody would come in and say, what is this law? Say, tell us what you want, tell us it in writing. And just put it, in a small town they were not used to anybody asking them a question. So I said, just give it to me in writing, and they would boss. But once they realize that it's too much effort to try to extract anything from me, the word press, please don't harass this guy, he'll come back, he'll ask you a question, he's not somebody else. So it took 2-3 years, by 87, 88, we shifted in 83, the government stopped harassing us. I mean, it was, at that time we had 27 departments to a unit with 10 lakhs of sales, 27 departments in who we are answerable to. Now there are only 12. But it's a lot has changed, a lot has gone online, and doing business, I'm not just saying because the government is saying this, the ease of doing business is increased, it's so much easier to do any new business.
Just for your information, Swapnil is COP graduate, and he did Dhingana, he went into music entertainment, he sold it, then he went into travel app, then he sold it. Swapnil, we have worked with you. We have seen your organization. In your organization, we have seen people enjoying and having fun 100%, you know, and they are working harder 200%, you know. How did you build this culture in your organization where people enjoying and as well as putting up almost 200% efforts on their works? How did you build this culture?
Oh, that's all. Sometimes I also wonder that. But I think fundamentally, like, our bar of hiring is very, very high. We normally interview for at least like 3 to 4 months before we select someone. Like every engineer, we spend 3 to 4 months hiring. And when we find that particular person, we give him all the responsibility that we can, probably 5x of what an Amazon or Facebook would give him. And if he's coming and working on cutting edge stuff that is 2 years ahead, and if he's super passionate about it, and if you get that sense of responsibility, full flexibility, a very warm ambience and atmosphere to work in, I think that adds up significantly. So whenever you join Messi, you basically have all that flexibility, plus you can choose the kind of machine you want to use. So whether you want to work from home, whether you want to work from office, it's totally flexible. So I think that every little thing that you do adds psychologically to the person. They feel that they are coming and working with the family every single day. And whenever we hire someone, we give them skin in the game, so they are part of the company. Their success is tied to the company's success and vice versa. So once you start feeling that ownership, our vision becomes your vision, and our mission becomes your mission, and then you start fighting for it every single day. It's like everyone goes on in an autopilot mode, and magical things start happening.
That's magic happened when American Express, you know, took it over. Your industry is a little different, and I'm sure no one sitting here would have said that Mahabaleshwar gaya, Macro nahi gaya. You know, everyone must have tasted your pizzas and brownie especially, you know. Yeah, I've seen so many people going especially for Macro. Your industry is different. You work with many skilled and unskilled people also. You work with farmers, right? Thousands of these people. How do you build culture in your organization? Your organization is a little different than Swapnil's. How do you build culture in your organization?
I started first in Vaishali and then went to IIM, spent time in a corporate in Voltas. And then came to Panchali, and this is serious. I spent time with the village and the villagers. And I can definitely say that I've learned more from my friends in the villages than I've learned in the IIM. It's that we qualified, we got opportunity to study, and in that 1% thing, one of the things in the world, we could crack an exam. Most of them did not get a chance to appear for that exam, so they are different. They live in such limited resources, and they have such wide, both social as well as other exposure. There is a lot to learn from them. So there's not much that I've done. 20 years ago, I went for for an international master's program, which took me around the world with other 40-year-old corporate executives. The smallest corporate, other than the three of us for India, was Lufthansa. Everybody else was the smallest corporate. Everybody else was much larger. The other classmate of mine, along with me, was Captain Gopinath of Deccan. So that time it hadn't started Deccan. So we were learning, and then what we realized that there is a wealth of culture and management available within the community. And after coming back, we visited at that time one of the Airbus's plants in Lancaster as a part of the training program, where we saw the wings of the Airbus are made by teams without any managers. So if wings of a plane which travel all of us do not require a manager, and we came back here, what is it that most of the work in retail or most of the work is all repetitive work? For people who can manage their families, who can manage their mandals, who can become the sarpanch of the village, who am I to put a supervisor on them to decide how to work. So we just took away all management over there, and we have, most people have been to Macro Garden. Macro Garden has, on the weekend after Diwali, had 36,000 walk-ins on one day. But there's not a single manager there. None of us, my son sometimes there, I don't go there. We have no managers. Each one person is capable of running, deciding what work he wants to do and run it the way he wants to do. The only thing is just respect the person across. That's all we have to do. And we have no checks, no control systems. They work within as a team and they decide tomorrow how many people are going to come. Tomorrow we expect so many. We just give them guidelines and they work on them.
Swapnil, this is for you. We've written a book called God in the Boardroom. It is about interviews of global leaders, and I would request each of you to collect your copy when you go from here. It's a nice read, it's a nice book. When I was writing this book, we went to Chief Justice Venkatachalaya, who was offered the presidency of the country, to write the foreword. And as we were talking, he made one sentence which struck to my mind all my life. The shortest distance between point A to point B is a straight line. There is no other way to go faster between point A to point B other than a straight line. As we sit here, we have chartered accountants, we have entrepreneurs, we have industrialists, we have doctors, architects, and a whole lot of builders and manufacturers sitting here. You run companies, you have worked in multi-currency environment, multicultural environment. It is becoming very difficult in this country to still adopt the practice. The shortest distance between point A and point B is a straight line. There are competitors who take a devious route and reach there. It is hurting the straightforward businessman. What is your take on this?
I think first of all, a lot of jugaad is happening in the Indian entrepreneurship world, which I think I don't understand the motivations of those people who are doing it, because I feel like it's self-hurting move and you kind of hurt your own credibility by taking that particular route. But I think fundamentally when you're building a company or building a business, I think you should start simplifying your goals, your product, your processes to a level where it becomes a no-brainer. And the more you simplify anything, I think the shorter that route becomes. So I think the shortest distance between point A and point B, I would define it as the simplest path to take so that you can actually reach point B with a high confidence ratio. It might not be a straight line, but if it is simple, I think a lot of people can understand, a lot of people can follow, and the more people do the same thing together with the same vision, in their mind, I think it becomes easier.
Well, very little different question to you. Nowadays we hear about CSR, corporate social responsibility. It has become compulsory for the corporates, so many people with intention, without intention, just due to government force they do that, But we have seen at Mapro it comes from within, right? We have seen at Mapro you help a lot of needy people in education, in medical treatments, and so on and so forth. It comes from within. For a business house, what is the importance of social responsibility? What it means to you as a business?
When the government formulated this law that 2% CSR, it is now asking that 100%, 98% you do what you want, but do 2% CSR. Why can't business be 100% CSR? You're taking a profit, possibly 30 to 50%, and again is going back to our government. You are using it for a better good. Creating employment, creating products, as long as you're doing it fairly, why shouldn't business be 100% social responsibility? How can business be something against social responsibility? If you are doing something against social responsibility, it is a criminal act. Not morally, it is a morally indefensible act if you are doing any business which is socially irresponsible. So how can you limit social responsibility to 2%? Your business has to be socially responsible. There is no doubt.
Happy news when demonetization happened. We work with around 270 corporates. We are around, between both the organizations, we are around 400 people and 100 chartered accountants as we speak. None of us got a single call among our clients. Not even a single call. Let's say demonetization happens, what should we do? So this is a little tricky question for you, but extremely an important question in today's lives. Recently we had a function in the office and where we have built an office where we are all together. We have 60% women in the office and 40% men. And in partnership where we are 13 partners, five of them are women. But unfortunately in the working sphere, the Me Too movement has come in. Everybody is telling them socially, there is some sort of a discrimination, you have been doing wrong things, and we hear a lot of wrong things. I visited Macy in Bombay, and I met you, and Mangesh, I met him, and such a lovely environment. Somehow God has created this beautiful relationship between man and woman. Many organizations it becomes wrong, but you seem to have got it very right. The relationship between the people there, the way they were dressed up, the way they were talking, it's such a healthy environment. You do something very specific to keep this wonderful relationship created by God, to retain its status at that level. How did you crack that? Somehow we have cracked
So
it.
it's about
We
the
have cracked
marriage
it.
between men and women?
Yeah, men and women, a lot of Me Too stuff is happening.
Yeah.
And that's spoiling the work environment totally.
Yeah. Sometimes between men and men as well, so it depends. I stay in San Francisco. So, I think I fundamentally have a lot of respect for women, and I think women have a special power, and I feel that because we became entrepreneurs because of our mom. We have always seen her start several different businesses. A lot of them failed. She used to partner with her brother and they used to get excited about something, go over the weekend and start building it, and next weekend it might not be around. So we have always seen that, and that's why we always wanted to do something ourselves. And mom always used to tell us, don't leave your stable jobs, don't do what I did. And we exactly did that. So I think coming from that background, I believe that when you have a healthy amount of women in the company, it adds an emotional balance, a cultural balance to the company. And I will tell you, if you have been to our Mumbai office, you can feel the culture, the energy, the vibes. Go to our Pune office, you might feel the other way around. Because 99% of the people there are men, and all are engineers, and they are like always doing this. The fun element is kind of missing in a way that it's present in Mumbai. So I think that emotional balance and cultural balance can only come if you have those capable women around. And at Messi, like our head of product was a woman, our head of operations she's our head of operations. So we have a lot of women in all the key positions in the company. I would love to have more, and that is something that, like, one of the things we always tell our head of engineering, like, we need more women in engineering in Pune. So I think it's very important. But on the other side, I think whenever you hire someone, you are looking for that cultural fit, and that personality of that particular person is very important. And once you get that right, once you know what your blueprint is, I think the collaboration between men and women, you can say with confidence that it will happen. But if you do see something that is not right, you should take immediate action. Like, just to give you an example, like we were in an offsite, and one of the guys, he just did some mismovement during dancing in front of a woman, and he's no longer at the company. So we took that very seriously. That was one of the fundamental reasons that we asked him to resign, because we thought that culturally down the line that particular person is going to add cracks in the system. So we took an immediate decision on that. So you have to be super strict in such cases, and at the same time protect the culture that you have, nurture it in ways you can, and keep building that collaboration between both sides.
Thank you. Maybe I'm sure when you started the business, you were not having this kind of challenges of Me Too and all that in 1980. Maybe you have got a huge experience of business. I'm giving a hypothetical situation because you typically work with a lot of employees, farmers, and you have a lot of associates. In a situation where any of the employee does some unethical thing, say for example he has stolen something, how do you handle this situation? How do you deal with that employee?
Rarely have I come across. I have to think in this 30 years of an employee stealing. Just to think, just a diversion on how much, or a lot of chartered accountants here, how much we fear what I would say either stealing or doing something wrong. Macro garden has lots and lots of flowers and lots of plants. But we try to count for every 1,000 people who walk in, how many pluck a flower? Because you say that you bound the places, you do this, how many pluck a flower? So for a few days we did surveys, how many flowers pluck? There are no boards anywhere which says don't pluck a flower, but there are thousands of flowers. Even on the worst days, we found between 4 and 6 people. 6 has been the highest per 1,000 people who will pluck a flower. It is less than 1%. Why should we take care to stop people from plucking flowers? The same thing about stealing and wealth. We have no control systems to stop people. People don't want to steal. If there's that 1% or less than 1%, when you give them the freedom and when you give even a thief the responsibility of looking after this, he will normally look after it. So the more controls you have, the more chances are that people will try to subvert the controls. If you don't have controls, it is cheaper. Even when our billing systems and you see now that the malls that people are walking in, I didn't even install that check. Although that our people started and people said, "Kahan checking karne ko do?" We have a 0.25% shrinkage, and most of it is because of our mistakes. People do not generally steal. And if you do one stealing, one intern had to put 200 rupees when he was an intern student who had never seen money and he was on a cash counter, and that was about 25 years ago. That's the last time I saw somebody doing that. So give people, trust people, they won't. And the cost of controls are much, much higher than what you would need.
I could subscribe to what Mayurbhai tells very nicely. We have a no-lock office. So anybody can walk in 24 hours, and our front office is visually disabled. So you can't even see who walks in. One day myself and my wife, we went for a movie, and a second show movie, and we came. I have a habit of seeing the office on my mobile, on a live camera, what's happening on a daily basis. So before sleeping, I just put on the live camera and I could see 8 or 10 sort of gundas inside the office. And my wife was very scared. Oh, should we call the police? क्या है ऑफिस में कुछ नहीं लेने के लिए? It's a purely empty office. They sat down there for 10 minutes, 20 minutes. They did like this, कुछ भी नहीं है. They went back. We didn't even bother of giving a police complaint. What is there to give a police complaint? And that was the only instance in the last 13 years we have faced. Never before we have got anybody enter, and we are in a city where crime rate is very high. And in spite of it, nobody has entered the office. There must be some sort of a spiritual strength around that.
None of my houses have locks. There's a latch lock so that it doesn't open at night. That's simplest minimum is. None of my houses, none of my flats, because there is nothing inside which a thief would like it more than I would like.
So now we'll go for the rapid fire. We have 10 questions. I will ask 5 and Pankaj will ask 5. What we request both of you is answer the same question. Swapnil will answer the same question, Mayurbhai will answer the same question. Another request, keep it one-liner. And please be fast. Please be fast. And here it goes. First one. Mayurbhai, what does money mean to you?
a medium of exchange.
Convenience.
Convenience. Second question. Your siblings or relatives in business. Your siblings or relatives in business. What is the biggest niceness of doing this? Okay, you have relatives in the business. What is the best thing because of this? In the business. No relatives in the business. You have relatives in the business. What is the best thing?
So, the good thing is I don't have to search for a co-founder, which is a pretty hard thing to do.
The only relative in the business is my boss. Wife is 50% partner.
An official asks you for a bribe. What is your first sentence? An official asks you for a bribe. What is your first sentence?
The reputation I had, they haven't had the guts. They know, at least small town, the reputation that they'll get a big hearing. They'll have to hear me out. They haven't asked.
Yeah, I think being in the US, I'm thinking if ever I have faced such a scenario, but yeah, I would try to avoid it.
My last question. This was Swapnil. A customer complains. What is your first reaction?
Customer is always right.
Customer is always right. Customer is always right.
The customer is always right. Where did I make my mistake?
Where did I make my mistake?
By the way, unfortunately you are late for a meeting. Unfortunately you are late for a meeting. What is your first sentence?
I'm so sorry. My apologies.
Something?
I'm so sorry, I'm always late. It's a feature, it's not a bug.
Swapnil, your customer or client is late in the meeting. Now your customer is late in the meeting. What is your first reaction?
Yeah, and because I'm always on the other side, I would not feel bad or I'll just show patience.
Apna bhai aa gaya. If a customer comes late for your meeting, there is a meeting with a customer with you, and customer comes late. What's your first reaction?
Customer is right. Always.
You can come late. Okay. Important question. Bye bye. How do you use your spare time?
I read.
You read. Something?
I paint, I walk, I think. I think thinking is a pretty important thing in my day.
Something to you only. What does meditation means to you?
Inner peace.
By the way?
Being in a meditative state all the time, perpetual meditation.
Wow. Swapnil, a different question. A red wine or a spa? What calls you?
I'm a big time wine lover, so I pick red wine, but yeah, or a spa.
What calls you?
Wine calls me every day, spa calls me once a month.
Calls you. I mean,
What do you like?
Spa puts me to sleep. I have tried it twice and haven't enjoyed it. Red wine, it doesn't make a difference.
okay. We have two more questions set for the gentlemen. But I would like to get from the audience. I mean, would you like to ask any question to the gentleman? Would you, or you want us to take the next two questions? What is the proposition? So you have, Sachin, wait a minute. We have another set of rapid questions, and then I'll come to you, right?
Then we can do the rapid fire and open it up.
Yeah, we'll do that.
This is the second set of rapid fire. What is your health mantra?
Walk every day, brisk walk every day. Eat 80% of what you should be eating. Never over full. And third, be mentally happy.
Be mentally happy. Beautiful.
Eat less, walk more, and stay happy always.
Swapnil, this for you.
But eat your stomach full when you visit Metro.
Swapnil, this is for you. What was the first sentence you uttered when there was the biggest success in your life?
Can't wait to share.
Can't wait to share. Lovely.
I think it's a joy that you want to share with as many people as you think might care about.
What have I done to deserve this?
This is for you. What was the first sentence you uttered when there was the biggest failure in your life?
What have I done to
What have you done to deserve this?
What can I learn from it? And all for the best.
Lovely. What can I learn from it? Why do mergers succeed? Why do mergers succeed?
I think 1 + 1 is 11.
Don't have experience of
Don't have Why do mergers fail?
-1 is 0.
But I think you can give us a good guideline on this. What is the single line you use to make someone feel special? What is the one line you use to make someone feel special?
Everybody has a different line, but it has to come from within. You don't use a line just to make a person feel special. It has to come from within, and for everybody it's a different. There is no set line as such.
So, when you used to do anything?
Yeah, I would say I love it. Amazing job. I think appreciation is the first thing you should do.
So, when you feel most cheated, when do you feel most cheated?
Many times. I think when trust is broken.
When trust is broken. Why?
When you trust somebody and you're not given what you expect, that's the time when you feel cheated. But that's, I think, an error of judgment on our part, not on the other person's part. You trusted wrong. That's a.
By the way, very important last rapid fire question to you, and we want to hear it from you. What's the purpose of your life?
Stay happy.
Swapnil?
Collect as many meaningful memories as possible.
In one lifetime.
Yeah.
Collect as many. I'm good. I want one volunteer. Now, floor is open for the audience. If anyone has any questions.
Thank you so much. Swapnil and Mayur, it was great listening to you. Swapnil, this question is for you. What is your next kind of a plan which you want to do after making so much money? Do you wish to invest in, basically I just simplified into real estate, or you want to just keep on working on some coding or something like that? And what is the way you, is there any floor for investment with you?
So I think there were 2 questions in there. First of all, thanks for the kind words. I would love to use most of the money that I have earned in my lifetime instead of keeping it for someone else. I think that is very important. Most of the people, they keep saving a lot of money that they have and keep investing in a lot of stuff and forget to use it for themselves. So I want to use it wisely. And regarding what I will be doing, was that your second part of it?
Yeah, what's the next plan? So like the next venture, now you have Messi, so now next one.
50% chance that we'll start another company in probably March of 2020, and 50% chance we might end up doing something around venture capital. So one of the things we have started now is we have co-founded twin ventures. So because me and Sam are twin brothers, so it is a VC firm that invests in very early stages in startups, just focused on artificial intelligence because that's our expertise. So we want to go all in on that. So let's see, depending upon that's a hobby right now. It's a $5 million fund. Let's see how that goes in the next year or two. And if we really enjoy doing that, then we might raise a bigger fund. Otherwise, we'll come back to what we know we do best, which is start another company.
Thank you so much.
I don't think there is a third option.
That's it. Thank you so much.
I think it was a lovely, wonderful session. A lot of insights, a lot of learning. This is a question to both of you, Mayur Bhai as well as Swapnil. I think having achieved all this, having built successful enterprises, having sold successful enterprises, what's your dream now? What's your dream?
To hand it over to competent managers for them to take it forward so I can retire.
So I think deep inside my heart, I don't feel any different. With a lot of money, with less money, I think fundamentally a lot of things remain the same. So I think it's important to be grounded and use that money for your convenience and try to figure out ways in which you can be happy. But I think when it comes to dreaming, I don't have any dreams per se when it comes from the professional front. But I think on a personal front, one of my dreams is to take my painting very seriously and figure out a way in which I can take it to the next level. I want to do it professionally for just one reason, because I want to donate 100% of the wealth that I can get from those paintings to underprivileged kids in India. So I need to figure out a way and path of making that happen, but that's one thing that I think about every single day.
Mayur sir, after you've had a huge, a long journey, you've really built everything from scratch. You've earned a lot of money. You've earned amazing reputation, a goodwill. You've helped people. You've done everything possible. Now that you're sitting and just looking back, and looking forward as well, how would you put these things in a chronological order? Maybe say what comes first, second, third: money, name, power, social work, just being there for people. So for a budding entrepreneur like me, when we read a lot of books and people say more than money, it's the impact. So what do you have to say about it?
Thank you. Long question, but I'll try to make it clear. I'll just give you an example that traveling 20 years ago, or even traveling around the world, looking at a lot of people, I got to appreciate our culture. I'm not saying just any Indian culture. Most of us lived in families, and every family had what is right and wrong. When we lived in families till 12 years, whatever age we lived in, we understood right and wrong. For a lot of people who in the Western world who lived as individuals and other things, they had to learn, children had to learn what is right and wrong from later. We came with a large base from each of our families. Each of have their own sanskars, I would call them. And that's what we follow. Money is just a means. Money can't be an end ever. Money is a mean, and the more you have, the more responsibility you have, how you're only a trustee of money. And the biggest fear is the more money, there are more chances of money spoiling you than you having that money liquid. So money is a very scary thing to have beyond thing unless you have the what I would say, not only the sanskar or the courage to be able not to be pulled down by the money. This is where a lot of people come into new money, old money. It's not new or old. It is your character to be able to not fall for just because I have the money, I have the biggest car, or and money, people equate money to power, and the day you equate money to power, that will be your thing, then you are a slave of the money rather than money working for you. So money was never it. It is what you can do to, along with the money that you can do to spread, or rather to reduce the pain of others. That's money, but that is a micro thing you do one at a time. But how do you use that for a larger thing, for either education, so that not one but 1,000 or 10,000 people can benefit from it? It is just the lack of opportunity. How we can use money to get people to get opportunity. And what we see in the last 30, 40 years, the amount of, we would have been faster, but the reduction in poverty, abject poverty has been huge, especially in Western Maharashtra, from people not getting food to eat. I remember the 72 drought, when people were dying of food, to now there's practically no houses who don't have food to eat. So there's a lot of good happening. How can you accelerate that? That's what my purpose is. Thank you.
So I have a question for you. It's a very simple question. You created Dhingana and you quit after some time. You created Messi and you quit after some time. Many times we feel that we, at our end, we create some product और हमारा उसमें time निकल जाता है कि मेरा product है, मेरी company है, मेरा है. We get so much attached with the company or the product that we don't even feel in our wildest dream to leave this company or product. You know, what is your mindset? What is your thoughts behind quitting your company just like that, and coming out of that, leaving the company and quitting that company? You know.
So I think quitting is a pretty tricky word. Quitting can also mean that you quit before there is an outcome. So I firmly believe that if you start a journey, if you are on the ship, you should be the last one to jump out of the ship. There are only two outcomes: either it reaches the shore or it burns down and you burn with it. Fortunately for us, in both cases, we reached the shore. But I think it's important to understand the purpose why you started the company. With Dhingana, with Messi, as I said, that it was never going to be a public company play for us. We knew that in both cases we have to find a bigger home for the company. So that was always in our mindset to start with. So it's like you have a baby, you nurture it, it turns 18 and it goes to college, your job is done. And then you go ahead and you start basically cultivate another baby. So that's the kind of mindset. But I think the kind of outcome that you have, like with American Express, we are very sure that we want to stay at American Express at least for the next 2 years. Not because we have to, but because we want to make sure that by the time we leave, Messi becomes a legacy that we leave behind. Messi becomes a platform that is powerful enough that powers American Express for the next 20 years. And what can we do in the next 2 years to make sure that the roots are so deep, the technology is so strong, the integrations are so solid that can happen. So that's, I think, is a goal. Like when you look back, you have to create a legacy and always have that in mind.
Okay. My question is to Swapnil. Since you are working in Pune as well as San Francisco, I mean India and San Francisco simultaneously both ways, what are the things you suggest to all the Indian audience here to improve so that it will be the dream of our PM and all our dream will become as a nation to grow? So what do you suggest to us to a few areas where we need to improve, we need to work on?
Yeah, I think with people like these guys reading you guys, I don't think I need to comment at all on how you guys can be better, because someone like Guru is like exemplifies perfectness, and he has been an amazing partner for us for the last, I think, more than 10 years. Both the companies, we closed our eyes and we have been working with Guru, and the same will be true for anything else that we do in India. But I think fundamentally when it comes to Pune versus US, in both our companies, Pune or India played a big role in the way we divided our teams. We were never a company, or we never had a mindset that India is an offshore center for us. we always believe and we always tell even to partners like American Express that the Indian talent that we have in Pune is as good as in US. There is no difference between the skill levels in both the countries, and whether it comes to pace or whether it comes to any facilities, we want to make sure that it's as high as possible and comparable in both the countries as possible. So I think, and that's why me and Snell will travel a lot to India, because we want to give equal amount of face time to these teams as we do in the US. I think we understand that the power is basically divided and the same on both the sides. It's not an offshore center. A lot of, I think, companies in India have a mindset that we are everything that is not good comes to us, especially the services company, and we have to work on something that someone else doesn't want to work on. But for us in both the companies, the best work comes to India, and that has always been the case. We have the best products targeted towards the world being built in India, and majority of the heavy lifting is being done in India. So I think it's important to understand that our entrepreneur skill set is at such a level that we can build global companies even without a US office sitting in Pune. And there are companies who are actually starting to do that, and I think more of that is going to happen in the future.
Swapnil again, you started two companies, Dingana and Messi, and both of them grew fast, and then you exited, like a successful exit. So, a quick success. What are the cultures, or what are the systems you followed in your company, which is why the spontaneous growth is there. Like a lot of business people out here, they grow, but on a gradual pace, but such a spontaneous growth. So what is the different culture that you had in your company or in your system, some system that you implemented for this growth?
Yeah, so I don't think it was quick success for us. As I said, that though on paper it feels like Messi was a 2.5-year journey. I think a lot of grunt work that we did in our previous company helped us here. And I think you have to make sure that you end up being lucky. And how do you do that? You end up being lucky by focusing on cutting edge stuff, by focusing on the strongest trends in the market, being at the right place at the right time, forming a very strong team. Hopefully they will build a great product which will attract great users and it will keep growing. So I think understanding the trends in the market, using your skill set to the advantage of those trends and being in the right place at the right time is very important. So you have to have that backing of luck as well, and you add hard work to it. Be at the right place at the right time, and then good things will happen.
What I wanted to know is any one, system or any one practice that you follow that you think that you grow so fast. Anything in one?
Yeah, I don't think there is a secret sauce per se. In both the companies, we started those companies because it was a problem that we were solving for ourselves. We started Dingana because there was no way for us to listen to Bollywood music in the US. So we hosted a server in our own bedroom and started listening to it. Before we knew it, 1,000 people started listening music from that server. So we moved it on, we bought a bigger server somewhere and we hosted it outside. Then we had 1 million people using it. That is when we realized that, this can actually be a pretty big thing. We need to quit our jobs and start doing this full time. So the Dingana journey was like a long, strenuous journey for us. And in the first 3 years, we were doing 2 jobs, so it was pretty painful. So one advice I would give to entrepreneurs is that if you are super passionate about something, go full time on it as soon as you can. Don't keep waiting for things, because the more you wait, the more difficult it becomes.
I think we've had a fabulous session. We've had a fabulous session, and would like to recognize Swapnil and Mayurbhai for coming over here. I met Swapnil 9 years ago in a cafe coffee day, and we first met. Not even Swapnil, I met Snehal, I think so. I met Snehal. And 9 years have passed. In camp, yeah. And there is absolutely no change in the core of the human being. 9 years have passed, and it's been such a joy working for them, knowing them. They made India proud. And an American Express comes back to a Pune-based company and tell, for artificial intelligence, we searched the entire world. And we came back to Pune and got only you. Thank you very much for coming.
Sir.
It's inside. Thank you. And Mayurbhai, if I have to learn something about humility and simplicity, here is one example. We knew somebody, and we have a WhatsApp group in IIM Bangalore where all the entrepreneurs are in the group. And I've been in the group for the past 3 years. And I did not even realize in that group there is one gentleman by name Mayurbhai, and he would be here. He was so silent, so simple. Once in a while, if anybody requires help, he'll put one comment and get back. Then when Anandbhai told me Mayurbhai is there, I started posting in my WhatsApp group telling that we need to search for Mayurbhai. Then immediately he told back, yes, I am here only. So thank you so much for coming here and enlightening us, all of us. So nice of you.